If you are into obsessing over food you find on Instagram as much as I am, you will know about the spicy tuna on crispy rice. And it looks so good, so delicious, but I don't eat fish. I could not figure out how to make this with no fish until I came upon Lisa at Okonomi Kitchen. She is a vegan creator, and I saw this spicy tuna on crispy rice. And I was like, fish is not a vegetable. How does she make this? It's tomatoes. My mind was blown. It looked just like it, so I obviously had to make it. But I was worried because I'm not really a tomato person, but when I tell you that this is one of the most delicious things I have ever had, the way the tomatoes are prepared, they don't even taste like tomatoes. It's so good. So I am gonna make some more. It's the night before I wanna make it. You can do this the same day, but you're gonna need some time for the rice to set up and for the tomatoes to marinate. Because I just made a bunch of this the other day, I still have some rice left and I don't wanna make a whole other batch of it. So this is the rest of my rice. What I did for my rice, I cooked it just in my rice cooker. What I did was season the rice. I put some rice vinegar in there, salt and white sugar, and then I packed it down into this baking dish, even layer, put some cling wrap on it, shoved it in the fridge overnight, and now it's like, it comes up in blocks so you can fry it. So I don't need to make any more rice, but I do need to prepare my tomats. So that's what I'm gonna do now. So why don't you join me on my adventure to the spicy tomato tuna. I've got these 3 very large Roma tomatoes. I will leave the recipe link down below as well as her Instagram. You should definitely check her out. Even if you aren't vegan, vegetables don't hurt you. That being said, I've got my tomatoes here. What I'm gonna have to do is peel them. So I'm going to score them and throw them in some boiling water for like 30 seconds. Take them out, peel the skin right off. What I'm gonna do is cut these in half and then half again so they're just in quarters. What I did after I boiled these was just put them in some cold water. Makes the skins kind of come up a little easier. So now I have all of my quarters here, and I'm just going to rip out this kind of middle pulpy section. Sometimes I just use a knife, it's easier. So you're left with just the outside flesh. And this is our tuna. How exciting, right? There you go. I've got all of my little fleshy tomatoes ready to go. And now I'm gonna start with my marinade. Some soy sauce, some rice vinegar, some mirin, some neutral oil. I'm using vegetable. The marinade also calls for dashi, nori, and sake, but I don't have any, so I'm just gonna leave them out for now, and I just added a little more of the other stuff, but I am going to add some sesame oil. Just a little bit. Give this a mix around. In go my tomatoes. Just mix them all up, get them all covered. And these will also go into the fridge, covered up overnight, or for at least a few hours, but I feel like overnight is probably best. And that's it, my prep is done. Into the fridge with the rice. And tomorrow I shall make the kind of spicy mayo, and then I can crisp up the rice, and then I can gorge. I shall see you tomorrow. It is now the next day, and I am ready to get my tomato tuna on. Just took my tomatoes out of the fridge, and they are fully marinated and gorgeous looking. Now, I'm just gonna give these a chop into little baby squares to mimic the actual texture and shape of the chopped tuna. I'm not gonna worry too much right now about getting them into perfect little squares because I am going to just like give it a good rough chop all the way through after. I just wanna get it started. Because there's still a lot of liquid left in these tomatoes, I'm just gonna put it over a strainer just to hang out while I get the spicy mayo all together. How crazy does that look? You cannot tell me that that doesn't look just like tuna. For my spicy mayo, because this is an original vegan recipe, I believe she uses vegan Kewpie, sriracha, and a little bit of sesame oil for the dressing. But because I am kind of adjusting it to my likes, and I'm not keeping this completely vegan, I am using just some regular old Kewpie, which is like a Japanese mayo. It's sweeter. It's made with, I think, only yolks. It's just a lot richer, very delicious. I am using sesame oil, and since I am not a sriracha fan, I'm using some chili crisp. This is just my La Grandma, but you can use any kind of hot stuff you like if you want a certain maybe hot sauce that you like the flavor of. As long as there's some sort of level of heat in there, I think you're good. And one thing that she doesn't add that I like to add just a little bit of is just a touch of hoisin sauce. Not too much because I don't want the color of the sauce changing too much, but I think it adds a really good sweetness and more of a depth of flavor. A little bit of salt. You can go ahead and taste for seasoning. That's it. To add my tomato tuna and mix to combine. How insane is this? It looks exactly like spicy tuna. I'm gonna add in some green onions. I'm gonna put this in the fridge while I get my rice together. I've got my skillet on a low heat for crisping rice, especially when I want it to be perfectly beautiful and brown. I find that low and slow is the way to go. Because if you put it on like a medium heat even, I find that the rice burns too quickly. I don't know if it's because of the sugars in the rice or what, but I don't want it to be like a dark brown color. I'm going for a golden crispy rice. And once you start to see that golden color start to develop on the bottom, flip it over, brown up the next side. Now for our tomato tuna, piled nice and high. You want that perfect bite. I can't get over how much it looks like tuna. Garnish of the green onions and some sesame seeds. This is such a great little party dish. Look at how cute that is. And because it's me, I gotta have some little flaky sea salt on there. And there is the spicy tomato tuna on crispy rice. Gorgeous. Can we just? There's no need. There's so many textures and flavors. You just don't know where to put your mind. It's just so good. Even if you're not vegan, even if you are not a tomato person, take a chance. This is where it's at. And you can like feel and hear the crunch of the rice. Yes, it takes some time to prep everything, but it is so worth it. You need to try this. Enjoy.